Baby Keem just dropped his debut album, The Melodic Blue, and this album has been anticipated for a little bit of time, especially throughout this year. We've had a couple of singles sprinkled throughout the year. We've had Sons and Critics and Hooligan. We also had Do-Rag Activity with Travis Scott. But the push for this album has reached a fever pitch of anticipation when you consider the feature on Donda with Baby Keem, and then you also have the Family Ties single with Kendrick Lamar. So this album has a lot of eyes on it, has a lot of anticipation and expectations, especially with a couple of Kendrick features, and also this being the debut album for PG Lang, which is the collective of Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, seeing as Kendrick Lamar is leaving TDE after this final album. So this kind of gives us a taster of what maybe PG Lang is going for, but most importantly, this will give a good introductory taste to a lot of people of what Baby Keem's sound is and what he's kind of going for with his music. And with the Melodic Blue, you get quite a variety of sounds, you get quite a variety of genres, of vocal inflections and tones and production. It's an album that's all over the place in a way when it comes to all these crazy directions that it will go. But it does give a good introduction of all of the facets that Baby Keem can do. He can do the banger tracks, he can do these pop subtle tracks, he can do these somber rapping tracks, and do these kind of low-key R&B tracks. Great start with an intro of Trademark USA. Gives you a good taste of what the album is going to be like, sporadic, balls to the wall, just all over the place, having whisper vocals, having flow switches all throughout, having a couple of beat switches mixed in as well. Really good taster of the album. You get a nice, somber, and kind of rapping Baby Keem over Scapegoats, which features an amazing sample from Serpent with Feet, one of my favorite singers. And we get more into the personal content with Baby Keem talking about his mother, and also discussing that this album wants to be more braggadocious, but going down the line with Baby Keem's albums, we may be getting into more personal content with Baby Keem, but as of right now, he wants to discuss on how big his portions are getting, as it's quoted in Scapegoats. And then we do have, again, this weird mix of like R&B and pop, where you have Issues and you have 16 and Scars. And with this album, and a couple of the tracks in it, like the ones I just mentioned, there is a strong 808s and heartbreak type of sound in this album. It has a lot of this R&B, has a lot of the sounds of pop. Even the song Scars even contains a sample of Love Lockdown from 808s and Heartbreak. And these moments, while they're very different and very off the pace of what a typical rap album should be, or what it could be, I think these are great moments of clarity on this album, and it's great moments of showing Baby Keem's versatility, not as a rapper, but as an artist. So I really appreciate these steps off the path where you get these moments of singing, you get these moments of auto-tune, and these moments of kind of contemplation, and these moments of a cool down from the craziness that you expect on this album. You have Gorgeous, you have Coco, which Coco is an absolute banger, featuring Don Toliver. It's a perfect song that would fit, honestly, on Heaven and Hell from Don Toliver's album. It is just absolutely incredible with this weird kind of flute mixed in with the instrumental, and it's just a high-octane instrumental and high-octane performances from both artists. We also get some very different and very interesting performances. Of course, we've known of Range Brothers, which honestly is kind of a mess. I'm not going to lie. This song is kind of a mess. It has a lot of stuff going on into it. Many different beat switches, many different flows going on. And I'm not sure if they all work out together. The last portion, Top of the Moanin', we all know about that. Honestly, I think it's kind of a shot at maybe offbeat rapping nowadays because it's so prevalent. And just kind of a shot at the industry of what rap is now. It's funny, and actually it's quite enjoyable, but I don't know how much I would revisit this track because of just, it's a little too insane. I'll be brutally honest, it's a little bit all over the place. Another track that kind of is a little bit odd is Pink Panties, where you have this kind of Denzel Curry type of delivery on the chorus, and you have this really not off key, but kind of off-putting, I'll say. Off-putting vocal delivery and singing on the verses and on the bridge. The vocals start to peak, kind of, and it starts to sound a little bit odd, and that's probably one of the worst tracks on the album. It's not terrible, like garbage, but compared to what else is on this album, it's a really different song. And another song I'm not huge on is Boo Man, which I love the instrumental. It's like on some Nacho Libre shit. But I see Baby Keem and I hear Baby Keem slowly going off the beat in some places. And the instrumental does go for a little bit longer than it should. Honestly, this instrumental would probably be great as like a minute 30 seconds. But not a bad track, just not one of the best ones. But there's so many awesome and great moments mixed in here too. Lost Souls is another great low-key moment. South Africa is actually my favorite on this album. The hook is just infectious. It sounds like a little pump beat, if I'm going to be honest. But Baby Keem like brings so much personality to this song. And I love the second verse where the vocals go so high. It's like, eh? Like kind of like something like that. And for some reason, if that was any other artist, that wouldn't work. But for Baby Keem, it just does. And it's such a good and smooth and banging track. I've already talked about Coco. I love Do-Rag Activity. I love First Order of Business. Vent, I wish the Kendrick Lamar verse was there. But honestly, Baby Keem, just by himself, I think does very well with that song there. And there's so many great moments. I think I've covered most of the track list. And 16 is a great closer to this album. A nice kind of pop, kind of more of like an 80s R&B kind of crossover as the finishing song on this album. And there's no cohesive kind of narrative. There's no cohesive theme on this album. It's just a good collection of songs. And it's a good collection and a good showcase of Baby Keem. One of my favorite projects of the year. While there is some moments that I don't really like that much, some moments are actually starting to grow off me, like those few tracks that I mentioned. But this album does get into a swing, gets into the momentum, especially in the second half. Especially when you get to South Africa down, even to track 16. That is a great run for this album. And I'm so glad that Baby Keem is getting all this attention, getting all of this praise for this album, and it's well-deserved. And I'm looking forward to the next couple years of what Baby Keem has to offer, because I think he will step up his lyrical delivery. I think he will continue going on these weird production choices, and not to mention he's producing himself. He's going to improve as a producer, and I think the future is very bright for Baby Keem. And I am so glad that we're also getting a taste of Kendrick Lamar. And I didn't want to talk about the Kendrick Lamar verses because a lot has been discussed. But also I want to make sure that this is Baby Keem's album and Baby Keem needs to be discussed. Even though the Kendrick Lamar verses are incredible, they're fantastic, the focus here is on Baby Keem and it should stay like that. So that's my thoughts on the Melodic Blue from Baby Keem. What are your thoughts on it? Subscribe. Thank you for watching. I know I've been gone for a minute, but I've been working a ton, but I'm getting back into the swing of things. I think we got a couple of good albums coming out this week, and I can't wait to review them. So thank you all for watching, and let's have a discussion about this. Catch you later.